Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. We're playing some Dune Spice Wars, and this is an absolute beginner's guide to this game. But before we get started, if you like military strategy, tactics, or doctrine and seeing it applied to strategy games, this is definitely the channel for you, so make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And before we get started, there's a Patreon down below where there's a bunch of free after action reports. Make sure you swing on by because I just uploaded some new ones. So check them out, let me know what you think. Anyway, so let's get started. So when you first start the game, I highly recommend scouting the map out as we've done here. And I'm going to go into more detail later on in the tutorial as why we're going to do that. You don't need to do as much scouting as I've done because I was looking for resources so we can describe them. But we're going to go conquer this village. So in order to capture your first village, it's all about war, right? So we need to march these units over here. They're going to leave the safety of our orange zone or our area. So if we were to click on one of these units, if we click on this or hover over this little option right here, this is known as supply. Once your units are outside of the areas you control, that supply starts to tick down, as you can see. And once that supply reaches 0, your units will start to lose health, which is super unfortunate. But this game's basically a survival RTS, not so much a war game RTS. So there's some diplomacy. There's a lot of survivability, which why I'm making this tutorial, because we're going to talk about how to maximize your water, how to maximize your resources, how to maximize spice, and how to maximize basically everything so you can build yourself a strong, powerful army so you can conquer the planet of Arrakis. And Dune Spice Wars. Right now we're in pitch combat. We're trying to eliminate this little village, this militia out here. Once they're defeated, we're going to capture this area. The reason why we're capturing this one is because we need to build a spice field right here. Alright, one thing to note is this orange circle will appear around a village once it's conquered. However, your units will not regenerate health. So if we were to send this unit over here, even though they're max supplies, since we don't control this area, they are not going to regenerate health until we capture that village. But if we bring them back to one of the zones that we already control, you can see that their health immediately begins to regenerate. So one thing to also note is that the raiders are not going to attack the opposing unit's AI. So they'll walk right past each other. So you'll have times where you have to fight raiders off, and then you have to fight the Atreides off or the smugglers off at the same time. Kind of one of the little quirks about this game. So if we click on this unit, as you see now, they just regenerated their health, they regenerated their supplies. Now we need to capture this village. First thing we need to do is we need to look right here. We have water and authority. Water is up here. This is our baseline water. So once we capture this village, we're going to lose 5 water. That's what they're going to consume. All right. So while we're capturing this village, we're going to zoom out and we're going to come over here and talk about why we recon as much as we did. And the reason why we did is because of this right here. So several areas are going to have different types of minerals. So it's going to basically, you're going to build your villages around where these minerals are. Because there's, as you can see, this one gives you a 50% boost to plascrete. So if we were to come over here and capture this village, right, and we were to select a building, and we were to find this one right here, this little building, plascrete production, see how it's plus 30? If we were to build this building down here where these minerals are, see how we hover over this has a plus 50%. So now we're going to get 45 plascrete production, whereas if we built it over here, we would only get our 30. So that's one reason why we scout these areas out. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to build our first spice. So let's track that down. Spice collection. We're just going to put it right there. We're going to let that build. And once that's building, I'm going to show you how to add civilians to it. Another thing we need to talk about is wind. Alright, wind allows you to capture water, which increases your water supply. But remember how we just learned that different areas on the map provide different benefits. So if we click over in this area, we can see wind strength of 2. If we click on this area, we can see wind strength of 5. If we click over here, wind strength of 4. If we click over here, lower left, wind strength of 10. And if we come over here, wind strength of 2. So since we've already captured this area, we're still going to build our units here. Unless we want to run down here and start another little war. But everyone's really slow. So what we're going to do is we're going to trickle our army in, which is ideally not the smartest thing to do. But once they're there, we're going to let them handle each other. We're also going to click on this, and we're just going to collect that. Because that's not the tutorial we're on right now. Alright. Also, if the combat's close enough, this building launches rockets out of the side of its walls. And will help you assist in the fight if it's in range. Unfortunately, we don't get to know the range of the mortars or rockets. So, that's something to take note of. Alright, once we capture this village, we will do our plaster creek production. And then we will also build a wind down here, actually. And then we're going to do our civilians next, and that will be the tutorial. So let's capture this. Once that's captured, so one thing to note is that as you capture areas, your border gets bigger. So we could effectively follow these units back to heal. Or if we were more over here and we were trying to capture this village, in case we wanted this energy source right here, we could just go right here and then fall back. Alright, but it does, we do need to have a unit over there. I forgot about that. We'll send them back. We'll click on our spice harvester. We'll come over here. So as the Fremen, we can add civilians. So right here, it says add crew. How I got there is I clicked on the harvesting team. And right here, it says add crew to this harvesting team. It's going to cost us 50 humans or manpower. But they're not a constant, so they don't reduce our overall base. Whereas if we were to add another army unit, if we click this army unit, we can see that there's an upkeep cost of 5 and for both money and manpower. So we would go negative manpower. So we would lose like 3 manpower every couple of minutes. Something to take note of. Dumb. Alright, it recaptured itself. So we're going to come over here. We're going to not build anything. We're going to track down. So if you come over here, you can see that these little recon drones, if you click on them with these things, it says currently not doing anything. We're going to send them on a scouting mission up here. And then we're going to zoom in because the map's getting dark. And we're going to position ourselves for our next assault along this border. And now that this building's done, what we're going to do is we're going to build this building right there if it lets us. Yep. And it's going to be 45 instead of 30, remember, because we get a plus 50% boost because these minerals are here. Alright, and then we're going to come back over here. Really, it's better, like remember we talked about wind strength, it's better to build wind down here. We're just going to keep going. Once our units are in place, we're going to get ready to conquer our 3rd village. This is some diplomacy we'll do a tutorial on later. Once we capture this 3rd village, I'll show you how to add manpower. Alright. So let's add our wind power over here. So wind trap C plus 3. Similar to down here. Once this is finished being built, we'll add a wind trap down there. Over here, what we're going to add is the manpower. So if we come over here to this military option, you're presented with 2 different things. You want the recruitment offices. See how it says plus 4 manpower production? So if we click on that, our manpower production up here will go up by plus 4. Once this building's done over here, our plascrete is going to go up by 45. And then we are getting, oh, sandworm. So here, see this little sandworm notification right there? Actually, let's do this. Alright. I'm trying to bait the sandworm out. We'll just let the sandworm get us. There he goes. Alright, we just got sandwormed right there. Ideally, we didn't have to sacrifice our units like that, but we're going to for the sake of the video. Alright, and we're going to go to wind trap. See? +3 water for each level in the wind. So we're going to get... Wow, 5 times 3 is 15, Joe. Whereas, so we'll get 15 water supply down here compared to 6 water supply. Alright, and then I'm going to show you how to build a military real quick since ours just got eaten. We were getting wrecked over there. Oh, that's a level 3 base. Right there you can see that level 3, level 0, level 0. I still haven't figured out how to level them up yet. So let's do our warriors. That just took almost all our money. This guy's just going to do his civilization thing and harass us. And we're just going to watch our resources tick up. And then we will end the video. Because that's all I really wanted to talk about in this video. I guess actually real quick. If we click on this. So similar to most games, if you played really any 4X. If we click on this right here. And we would add a military. You can see that each of these require they have certain requirements like survival training. This one requires support structures. It's the red words, so I can't like drag it over. So if I hover over infiltrator and you look all the way at the bottom of that window right there, you'll see survival training. Then if I hover over this next unit, the caravan, you'll see support structures. And if I hover over this next unit, you'll see call to arms. Right? Let's go position these units over here. They're going to need more. So if we were to click on this triangle right here, we can come over to our military. We can see survival training, support structures, and you just build each of these. And once each of those are complete, you'll have a new military unit to build. But as you can see, military units, they cost upkeep and they're quite expensive. So this one has 5 upkeep and we only have 6. So if we were to add another military unit, we were going to lose both money, which is strange right now that we're negative money. So we need to build some things to get our money going, and manpower. And the last thing I wanted to talk about would be militias. Militias only cost manpower initially. They do not have a follow-up manpower cost. So if you click on this building right here or any of the towns that you capture, and you click these plus signs, if you hover over them, you'll see it has a 50 gold and a 5 manpower cost. So if we click that, we watch our gold go away, and we watch our manpower go away. But we do not lose, since there's no upkeep. It's not a steady drip. So as you conquer villages, just make sure you add your militia in. Now let's get our gold up. So if we click right here, we need to spend money to make money, right? So we spend 100 placer creep. We click this unit right here. So the processing plant, it requires rare elements or a special region. That's what I was scouting out as well. I was unable to find it. I was only able to find these ones. So that's really going to affect how much money you're going to make. And the only real way to reduce your overhead for a lot of your buildings now is to come over here and start building these maintenance buildings, which increase resource production of what you currently have, or they reduce the upkeep, which is never fun, right? Because those take up a major portion. So if you wanted to focus on something else, and we're getting raided right now. They're walked right through our one area. Our militia's coming out to battle them. Right? And so just like every civilization game or 4X game, there's always some third, fifth party that's always going to keep you getting raided. You know what I mean? Right? So you're never going to fight the Fremen or the the Harkonnen. I almost called them the Darth or the Smugglers. All right, and then here we have a sandworm, so we need to move. If it lets us, can you please move? As you can see, the ground's moving right there. So, all right, the sandworm went away. All right, guys, that's the tutorial. Peace out. Like, comment, subscribe.